All right. Welcome everyone to another update. Today is November 12th. It's Thursday, November 12th. So if you guys been following along, you would have been able to follow from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and specifically following current market movement strategy. Now, during this time, I did post current market value. I will talk about both because, like I mentioned before, I want this to be a type of general understanding of how the updates work whenever you get access to our Google Drive, our Google Docs, whenever you get access to our network. We have a private network and you can get access through a 10 days free trial. We also have a 30 days free trial. If you're interested in that, I highly encourage you to go to our website. You can click on the 10 days free trial. It will take you to a WhatsApp and a representative will talk to you. That's why I said you could click on the 10 days free trial, because it'll take you to someone that will be able to answer your questions about the 30 days free trial, or not free trial. Excuse me. It is a 30 days trial. It isn't free, but I encourage you to check us out so you can find out more information about how you can get this free trial. Okay. Another way is you can go to our homepage. You can scroll to the front page, and on the front page, on the second part, there's something about starter pack. There's like an emoji that's scratching its head, and it says something like, if you are wondering where to start, you can download the winner's starter pack. When you download the winner's starter pack, it explains pretty much, it's a general explanation about everything you need to know from how we work, how everything operates. Okay. So with all of that out of the way, but the best place to really understand also is the ebook as well. But let's get into the update. All right. Now, I will first go into the, let me go into the report. Then I'll go into the account, both accounts actually. So when you're looking at the report, always make sure you look at the middle here where it says research completed for such and such date. So today is the 12th. When you see this, that means that it is completed. It also means that you can take the signals. They're good to take. Now, I will say this. Today is Thursday, and I will talk about this particular topic. And here's the topic. If you've been following along, you will know that the best time to take a trade for current market movement is at the beginning of the week, preferably on a Monday, but the best scenario is on a Tuesday. All right. So if you take it on a Monday, you could take it on a Tuesday. And I already explained what the percentages are from a Monday and a Tuesday when it comes to the likelihood of your trades making money. All right. I'll leave it at that. Go back to the previous videos so in order to learn more about what I'm talking about. I believe that was a Monday update. Monday's update was broken up into different parts. Okay. So go back, listen to everything so that you can fully understand how everything works in that regard. Current market movement, placing your trade at the beginning of the week and then collecting your profit around Thursday or Friday. All right. So hold that thought. I'll talk about more about that aspect of the strategy. Okay. Because today is what? Thursday. So I will definitely cover what does that mean? And you guys can get a live action view at the whole process from start to finish. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. So I will say there's a lot to talk about, guys. I'm going to try to make it quick, at the same time, make it understandable. All right. So I decided to take off the confirmed because I'm only going to place confirmed directions anyway. All right. So if it's a new direction, if it's a new trend, it's already confirmed. Just know that. All right. I'm not going to go into the charting aspects of it right now. But for those of you who looked at the Monday videos, I'm going only after the orange line. So once the orange line moves, it's already automatically confirmed. That means that's the confirmation line anyhow. That's a confirmation line. Okay. All right. So the first trade, let's see, I'm going to be scrolling down and I'll talk as I'm scrolling. So the Australian Swiss, we are starting to see another trend taking place. I mentioned yesterday that a lot of these assets that have stress marks on them could be an indicator that they're about to change direction short term. And sure enough, most of these did. You'll see the new trend, those that are on the chart. You can compare Thursday video to Wednesday's video, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. A lot of these assets that had stress markers ended up changing into a new trend. And a lot of these assets that are still under a lot of stress, some of them have been under stress for like 4 days, like this Australian dollar versus Swiss franc, been under stress for 4 days, trying to push it down for 4 days. Sometimes you'll notice if you're holding an asset on current market movement and it's under stress for 4 days, you might have two scenarios. Scenario number one, you may come up with little bit of profit, just a little bit of profit, still some profit, but not as much as you would like. Or scenario number two, the stress is on it so tough that it eventually will change, maybe on a Friday or the next day, let's just say the next day, and you're not going to have any profit. Okay. But again, that's one of the reasons why you want to start your trade early in the week, because if you did it on the Thursday and the stressors are coming on, you wouldn't want to take a trade on a Thursday that has stress on it, because more than likely you might lose on the Friday. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. So some of these are starting to stress. We're seeing some more stressors on these that have the fire on them. The fire means that they are aligned. That means they're very strong. At one point when the market alignment with the current market movement and current market value started, they were very strong, at the beginning of the week on a Monday. But then the stressors started coming in and they're getting weaker and weaker. The momentum is not as strong, okay? Australian New Zealand dollar, that one's doing pretty well for being an ongoing trend. A little resistance there, okay, on the sell. So if you were holding that, you definitely should be in some pretty decent profit, from a Monday till now. And just to let you know, I'll show you the account, but we already collected on the account that was the current market movement account. Just to let you know, we already collected on that. I placed new trades on that account. This is what I told you to hold your thought on. I wanted to talk to you guys about that. Place brand new trades on a Thursday just to give you guys an illustration of how this works. Now, I'm not expecting profit to just boom on a Thursday, especially during the U.S. session. It's 1:23 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so the market's still going on. It's about to end. The U.S. session's about to end, and it's very crazy during the U.S. session, market session. So I'm expecting to check to see how things go on a Friday for your sake, so that I can illustrate to those who are wondering about current market movement and how to make their profit at the end of the week using our strategy. Okay, so let's move forward here. Australian dollar versus US dollar. Remember, go back to the previous videos, Tuesdays and Wednesday, and even on Monday, the stressor was on it, just pounding and pounding and pounding away. Well, guess what? It finally gave way. Now, all of the new trends, I placed trades on that current market movement account that I'm about to show you guys. And on that current market movement account, new trends were placed, confirmed new trends. and we are waiting to see if profit forms tomorrow or sometime today during another market session, maybe during the Asian market session or after the Asian market session is over. Most definitely, we want to see how things turn out during the London and US session on Friday. And so you guys can get an idea how this works, okay? Just to illustrate to you guys. It wasn't a huge lot size, a smaller lot size, but smaller because if you decide to do something like that on a Thursday, you want to decrease your lot size. You might not make a big profit, but that's not the whole point. Remember, you're coming late into the game, so to speak, but it's still a new trend. But on the current market movement, you want to just collect your profit for the week. You don't want it to go over the weekend unless you're trading under current market value long term when you're expecting to get your money at the end of the month or at the end of 30 trading days. Okay? And if this doesn't make sense, just hang in there. You will get it. You hear it enough. You take notes. Join our network. Take notes. Watch the videos and learn. Learn. This is very important, especially now. In these times, if you want to learn, make the sacrifice to do it. These times are going to require a lot of sacrifice from all of us in many different areas of our lives. Okay? Real talk. But let's continue. So it finally gave way. The Australian dollar gave way to the US dollar. Not every currency has given way to the US dollar short-term strengthening. Okay? All right. But the Australian dollar sure did. All right. A new trend also on the Canadian Swiss current market movement that started. And remember, these were stressed yesterday. New trends now. Canadian yen, same thing there. Swiss yen starting to stress out. Hasn't really changed as of yet. Maybe Friday. We'll see. A new trend here on the Euro Australian dollar. Okay. It was stressed out. Gave way. Became a buy. All the new trends I said before, I placed on the account that I will show you after this. Euro Canadian dollar. The same story there. The stress gave way. A new stress marker is starting to take place here with the Euro Swiss. All right. Will it give way? We have yet to see. Another stress that gave way here was Euro Pound. We have a new trend, buy direction on the short term. Euro Yen. Stress is starting to take place. If you're holding on to that, you should be seeing that. And if you're making profit like on a Thursday and you see there's a stressor and you're like, oh, wait a minute, let me just collect. All right. These updates are going to come out way earlier, guys. I'm in the middle of working with different people within our network, our team, so that we can finalize everything. So this is the week where we're finalizing everything. So by Friday, tie up all those loose ends. Those of you who are looking for 10 days free trial, of course, you're able to see the promptness we have now, much more prompt. The updates are going to be out early because I won't be tied into that part of the business right now. Starting next week, I won't be tied up with that part of the business. So the updates are going to be coming out in the morning during the US session. So boom, you'll get it. You're like, wow, great. We're going to get our WhatsApp group back, you guys. That's coming back online. And it's a different WhatsApp group, by the way. The old WhatsApp group, if you're there, might as well just leave, okay, on the 310 number. You guys, the 310-460-9000. If you're there, of course, you already noticed there was no action there. So there's no sense of staying there. But we got a new WhatsApp group up and everything's going to be going. We're going to be also up fixing up the members area on our website. Great new things coming, guys. So stay tuned. Euro New Zealand, that one's also doing very well. That's because the New Zealand dollar is very strong right now. Just to let you know, if you want to take if you want to invest in a particular currency, long term or short term, right now, short term, I'm speaking, actually, New Zealand dollar is very strong right now. So you'll see a lot of the New Zealand dollar pairs where the New Zealand dollar is in favor. So it's definitely beating the euro, causing the euro to be sold against it. All right. The euro dollar. Okay, we still got that ongoing trend with that, and for 3 days that's being sold off. A new trend on the pound Australian dollar, which is being sold off on current market movement. We see some stressors taking place on pound Canadian, a new trend as the pound Swiss gave way to the sell force, and the same happened with the pound yen, gave way to the sell force on the current market movement, guys. That's what I'm focusing on right now, CMM. Pound New Zealand still going strong. That's because, as I mentioned earlier, New Zealand is going strong. So the pound versus New Zealand, the pound is giving way to the New Zealand dollar. Pound dollar, we see the new trend. The dollar caused the pound to give way. All right, the strength of the dollar, short-term strength of the dollar, has caused the Great British Pound to give way. So we do see a CMM on a sell for pound dollar. New Zealand Canadian dollar, we see that going strong, still buying 4 days straight, going strong. No stressors. So if you would have had that for Monday, guarantee you're in profit. There's no question about that. A 4 day like this New Zealand Canadian on the current market movement, a 4 day trend on fire, holding that with a strong New Zealand. Oh, I mean, that's a given. That's like the star. All right there. Same with the New Zealand dollar versus Swiss franc. Same story. Okay, what I gave with and so the New Zealand pairs are doing pretty good, guys. Just to give you a heads up. I mean, you can tell just off of that. We got a 4 day straight ongoing trend. No stressors. I mean, that right there is an indicator. It should be an indicator for you when you're reading this chart to better understand what's going on. When you're reading this report, I should say, not chart. The dollar versus Canadian. Here we got a trend going on there, still going on, again, because of the U.S. dollar strengthening itself. We have a stressor on this one, surprisingly. Okay, the U.S. dollar is strengthening against the Swiss franc, but there's some stressors taking place. Okay, could be some indicators there because due to the Swiss, But let's keep moving forward. Dollar versus Japanese yen. We got the dollar strengthening up with the Japanese yen, but there's some stressors taking place there as well on current market movement. Dollar versus Mexican peso. That switched yesterday to a new trend. It's still going on strong, short term, strengthening against the overall current market value. And the same with the dollar versus Norwegian crown. We have that going on 4 days straight, new trend. All right, let me move faster here and keep on going. Gold, guys, we have a movement here in gold, but we got some stressors. And again, the stressors, because of that, has to do with the dollar for the most part. A lot of these dollar pairs are just going to be volatile because the U.S. market is volatile. But guys, we're about to see some very interesting things happen. I'll talk about that when we get to the last part of this report. Okay, let's move further down here. The story is the same with all the gold pairs, guys, just to let you know. All right. The gold versus silver, we may take this off because no one really uses this, and it's, but as far as the MAS score, it is a good indicator and sometimes good to have on there as well. Okay. Silver versus the US dollar. We got some stressors on there as well. And we are starting to actually see, I didn't put this on the report, but we are starting to actually see some stressors in the silver long term, guys. So we may see some commodities start to sink and tank. I mean, a lot of us are starting to see that now just this week. And that's kind of what this report is indicating as well. So look forward to probably seeing silver CMV long term also change. Quite possibly, guys. It's just going to be volatile. I'll tell you that. Just make sure your margin level percent is very high if you're going to get into these commodities right now, because that market is very hot. But I'll tell you right now, it's also very volatile. All right. Let's move on here. Oil, we're seeing some stressors in prices on both UK and US oil. And natural gas, we're seeing that ongoing trend still moving forward. All right. Cryptocurrency, we see the Bitcoin starting to move in the ongoing trend, buy, strengthening up, guys. Maybe another bull surge for Bitcoin, but definitely on our CMV. If I said this yesterday, if you would have taken this, you would have known, and you would have made your money on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular. If that's your thing and you do it safely, you would have made your money on that as well. You would have made your money. You would have hit that money mark when you seen Bitcoin hit that 15,000. And we got some more on Bitcoin, just to let you know. I won't give it all away, but just to let you know, things are definitely still moving, guys, with the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular, guys. Okay. So I'm not going to go over all of the cryptos, guys, but I will say something about the Monero. That's the only one that's not really doing that good. So, but still, it's consistent in that if you sold it, you will be making money. Okay, even if things are being sold off, you can still make money. Excuse the noise, guys. It's going to be a little noisy as I'm going to step out real quick, and I do apologize for that as well. Okay, so Ethereum, the same thing is true with that as well. We see some stressors on there, but we are still going to hold on to that, and we are going to keep moving forward. Okay. Let's go into the indices market, guys. This is the stuff I said I wanted to talk to you guys about in particular, okay? And with the indices market, let's go into the Australian market. Now we're starting to see, of course, some very strong stressors taking place against the overall movement for these currencies, guys. I mean, not currencies, but for these indices, the indices market. So here's what I said earlier. I mentioned that we're going to see some very interesting things take place, probably starting next week. Okay. Very interesting things take place, at least on the short term. And I'm going to tell you, on the indices, the short terms, guys, if you're going to trade on the indices and you're going to do the short term, you're going to be able to make some really big money real soon. Okay. But if you're going to do indices on the long term, be able to have an iron gut. Let's put it like that. There's a lot of money to be made with these indices, guys. Tons of money to be made with these indices. Okay. And now with these indices, I'm going to go ahead and continue the report and kind of give you guys an idea of where I think things might go with the world market. Okay, just from these stressors, all right? It could go that way, but it may not. But we're seeing a lot of stressors here on current market movement. So let's continue to move forward here. A stressor here with the Australian 200. The stressor finally took place this is the first day, complete 24 hours since we discovered the stressor on the China 850. Now it's just completely going down. All right. And the dollar, that's not really an indices, guys, but I put it in here. Okay. The DAX 30, we're seeing some stressors there. Okay. Taking place where it may start to change next week. Now, see the pattern here, guys, why we believe that this might be an indicator that all of the markets might start to tank. And if that's the case, you're going to hear about it on the mainstream media. Okay, that's all they talk about. The Dow Jones, we got some stressors taking place on that as well. And we got a stressor taking place on the Euro Stoxx 50. We also got some stressors taking place on the France. We got no stressors taking place on the UK 100. We don't have stressors taking place on that. On the Hang Seng, we got some stressor taking place on that. Now you guys see the pattern, why we believe overall as a whole globally there's going to be some very serious market downturn that we may hear on the news about. Of course, I believe that it might have a lot to do with possibly the whole world's gonna get locked down again. But hey, that's just what I think. All right. Anyhow, IBEX, the Italian market. Some more stressors taking place on the short term. We don't see anything taking place yet on the Japanese market. Nasdaq, believe it or not, Nasdaq is doing very well. That's probably right now the exception to the rule. The exception to the rule, Nasdaq. Okay, surprisingly, but that's what it is, at least for now. Now, Friday might come. It might be something different. Who knows? That's how these indices work, especially in the U.S. market. Okay, but for now, Nasdaq has actually recovered itself. Remember earlier in the week, we had some stressors taking place with the Nasdaq. All right, guys, sorry about that. I got knocked off. So let's continue. I did mention the Nasdaq. We may see this continue to move up, or if all of these market stressors take place on all the global markets simultaneously, it would be kind of interesting to see how the Nasdaq is going to react, at least by tomorrow or at least by next week. All right. S&P 500. We already saw that the stressor took over the S&P 500 and it's starting to drop. All right. If you watch the news, you could verify even this report to just your, the news and stuff like that. Okay. Singapore, there's some stressors there, and then there's some stressors on the volatility index. Now, the volatility index stressor is very interesting because here, the volatility index measures the volatility of the market. So if you got a stressor taking place on a sell trend, meaning the volatility was not that high in the market because the sell trend was the volatility was less because it was going down. That means that if there's a stressor taking place on a sell trend, that means the volatility is about to go up. But we see that though. We're starting to actually see that overall. The volatility of the market is about to change. So if this stressor changes, guys, just get ready. Now, I know this update probably is way longer than usual, but it needed to be done. It needed to be said, and it needs to be studied, guys. I try to keep this really concise, and that's why sometimes I might talk really fast, and I try to cut as much as I can of unnecessary information. But I honestly believe a lot of the stuff I said is extremely necessary, especially if you're new. And if you heard this already, well, refresh your memory and, get it all concrete in your head. Okay, let me get into the account now. Okay, so I did say that this account represents all of the marks that are new trends. So if you go back to the report, you would be able to compare this and see that today these were placed, guys. Okay, I already collected on this account. All right, so I'm showing you this account now, the amount that's in this account, because it's a small amount and I did get permission to show it this time. But when the amount grows, I cannot really show the amount on this account. Okay, just because of certain rules and regulations. Okay, let's just leave it like that. All right, so today these trades were placed on this individual's account, same individual's account that we're looking at to look at the current market movement trend. All right, and I will place also a chart on this video. In fact, let me do that now. Here's the chart. This chart tells us what is going on with the current market movement, and I'll be able to have this. I'll start having this available through the website so you guys can go ahead and take a look at it. Now, when I first placed these, it was like a negative $400. That was because of the Nasdaq. It was like Nasdaq brought it down to like -3. But we can see that it closed the gap pretty quickly, considering. Okay, hopefully it continues the same way up until tomorrow for this particular account, which is based solely on new trends, guys. I'm going to repeat this again. This is all that there is on this account, from the Australian New Zealand, all the way to the dollar versus Norwegian. This is all there is on that report, on the report that I just showed you guys. This is it. New trends on a Thursday. Looking forward to see how things are going to go between today, the 12th, and tomorrow, the 13th. Oh, interesting. Tomorrow, Friday the 13th, I guess. Whatever. All right. It is what it is. So it's interesting to see how this is going to go. All right. And it's so far going good so far. So we'll see. Okay. But I'm doing this to show you all how this works. Now, let's go to the next account. And actually, you know what? I won't go to the next account. The next account is current market value. Now, I will say this. Current market value, if you're holding on to current market value, and one of the things I need to really stress, and I'll close out this video, I'll end it after this, is this. Current market value requires patience, guys. We set our account management on current market value. So if you're interested in account management, just hold on, and I got it. Some of you are coming from a place in the Forex market where you're so used to day trading and all of this fast gambling stuff, okay? And I'm not talking about making money at the end of the week stuff. I'm talking about trying to make, money in 10 minutes or 5 minutes or like an hour or something like that, just like, so it's hard to readjust to a different way. It's hard to live, you're used to living in the fast lane. Now I'm telling you to kind of slow down. It's kind of hard to do. And I got it. Trust me. All right. It takes time. So I definitely understand. Okay. So with current market value, we'll check that later. All right. I will tell you this, that it is under a lot of stress. Okay. It is under a lot of stress. I will say that. But that's normal. It's only been 1 week. I'm not expecting anything outside of that. That's just, you go back to the archives, you see that's just the norm. Guys, I'm done. Contact us if you have any questions, and God bless.